Morning, Jules here from JoolsEDesigns. So what we're doing today is we're doing more pockets, similar to the pockets that we did in the last one, but this one has a flip out and it just has two. This one has 1, 2, 3, and there's no flip out, but you can have, you know, if you put it in your journal that way, you can have a fourth one, or put it that way, you can have it that way. And again, we're just going with the grungy, you know, making the book page grungy looking. Again, I've used two, like a double book page. Just, they're not really old book pages, it's just that you can, you know, you can make them look quite old. So what we're looking for is some book pages. Now I could use these and I could stick them together, however I'm not. What I'm going to look for is a page like that. That's easier to work with. So you know, you would just take your book apart, and then what we do is, right, so I just need to look at that. So we fold that one in half and we fold it in half again, so that you've got all your bits like that, and you open it up. Okay, and what we do is what I'll do is I will ink this so you can see. You can, you know, you don't have to use book page, you can use digitals. I will do one with a digital so you can see it. Alright, so there, so you can see that. So what we're doing is we're going to bring that not quite right, so there's probably about an eighth, and this one probably, just make sure that it's not that's the wrong way, isn't it? It goes that way, silly. Right, so we've got that one that way, that one that way, and this one is a smaller one still, so you can guide it by this and just make sure whether it's in a straight line. So there we are, and there we are there. Now that is a little bit like narrower than that. If it bothers you, just either put this one further down, which is probably better. There we are. And that's how that goes. So what we'll do is we'll do it again. So again, it's a double book page. I'll measure the book. It's 1 1/4 by 5 1/2. So that makes that 11 by 8 1/4. That's kind of a legal letter, you know, the American vehicle size. So again, fold it that way and that way. Open it up. Put this one that way. This one's the smaller one, and this one again we put that like that, just like that, and there you've got your two bits. So what we'll do is we'll stick these down. I think what we'll do is we'll use some glue stick just to stick that down. Okay. Now you don't have to, it's just these bits that are and you can stitch these down if you want, it's entirely up to you. And this one. And what you have to remember is you have got one opening here. And there we are. So we can because you're colouring the book page in with ink to make it look that vintagey, patinaed look, as I say, it doesn't have to be an old book. You just go to the thrift shop, charity shop, and just buy any book. You know, it can be a softback book, it's fine. Okay, so I'll do these two. And well, this one and this one, and there we are. And there's one that I did with right, so this one's done slightly different. So this is your deep one, that's your shallow one, but you cut this in half. So you put that there, you put that one there, and you put that one there, and you can stick that down that way, and then you've got a pocket that way. Or if you wanted to, you could do another, but that one gives you like a square pocket. But we might do that another time. So what we're going to do is we're going to now colour these in, I think, with the different inks, and I'm just looking for my there they are. This is what I was looking for, my blenders. So what I used, I think we had Scotch timber, we had the Friar Brown, so I'm just going over it. And because we're doing it all over, you don't have to go around the edges, you can just sort of like bring it in towards the, you know, the creases, and it will, you can see it's and if some get a little bit darker than the other, it doesn't matter. So that's that one. Do a little bit of this. We'll just go around the edges with this one at the moment. I will put some through the middle. Now I always find the Scotch timber is like a greeny brown. All browns have, you know, you have red browns, orange browns, green browns, you have some kind of black browns. You can see where it's gone a little bit darker, and that's where the glue has just gone over onto that page, and it doesn't matter, it just adds to it. And then what I'm doing is I'm just bringing that in, and as you can see, it's starting to look nice and oldie. Now what I'm looking for is, I think we might go with ground espresso. And this is more of a reddy brown than the Friar brown is. So I'm just still a darker brown, but it is a lot reddier than the Scotch timber. Oops, didn't mean to do that. Yep, I think we'll leave that like that one. So now we'll do this one. We'll do the Scotch timber first, I think. And again, it'll pick up where any glue's kind of spilt over on the page. And this kind of just gives it that grubby looking we'll go over with the so you can, I don't know whether it's showing on the camera, but you can see the difference between the ground espresso and the Scotch timber. And then we'll go to Friar brown, which would be kind of similar to vintage photo, but I quite like this one. And this one I'm just and you can see this one's coming up kind of light. In here, okay, and what we'll do is we'll bring these over. See, I've got one there that's just Again, I didn't turn that one over, but I just left it. And these are just photographs. And I'm just going to do. So I think now these are available on my Ko-fi, not my Ko-fi, on my Facebook group, and they're just a bunch of photo booth photographs just available. They are a little bit bigger than this, but I cut them down just to make them look a bit smaller. And then what I usually do is I bring one of these in, I use the dark brown, and I just go over it because they're just black and white, so I just go over it like that, just bend it a little bit. And then you either go over it with a pair of scissors like that, or if you have one of these, like a sanding disc that sits on the bottom of your blender, and then I just rub it over like that, and then we get the old look. That's a bit too big. No, I'm actually going to cut this down a bit more. Right, I think we will use a little bit of I've got some music paper here. See, this is seal brown, this is quite a dark brown one. And put that there, I think, yep. I think I can use this little bit of ticket to go behind the photo. And no, not of that one. Yep. And I think we'll have just look for it. Oh, that'll do. That off. That's that one, and I think we'll put a little bit of colour on that one. So do we want, no, want a bit of blue or a bit of yellow. I just like to add a little bit of colour. Right, I quite like the yellow. And then what we can do is we can add some stamping. I think we'll go with the black. Better, and I think we'll okay. And I think we'll use and we'll do the dark brown with this one. I think that's enough there. There we are. So we've got that one. Now this one, so I think we'll have the guys on this one. Just I think we'll have that. think we'll have this one along here. So I think we'll lift that one up. Yep. So that one. Lift this one up a little bit. Just sits over the top. I've got a little bit of stripy material here. And just this way. And I'm just using fabric tack on this one, and we're just going to put this a little bit off. Okay. And again. One. And we'll have this one. And again, it's just tickets for anything, holidays I think, and these aren't holiday pockets, but it's fine. I'm just going to use that there. That there. And I think that's quite like that. And we've got the coloured one there. We've got a little bit of I was like thinking of using some lace. I think I'll use the lace on here. I might put lace on both of them, I don't know. And I'm just using fabric tack again. And got some of this. I think we might put a little bit of this on. And I think we'll just use fabric tack on this one because it's going on top of this. Yep. And we'll put that there. And there we are. I think that one's definitely done, but I think we've still got a little bit more to go on this somewhere. Want this? No. Want this? I've had these banner things for ages and I just used to use them in little clusters. I've actually seen Tony, Crafty by Tony, use them on, you know, sort of like these kind of things, and I thought that's an absolute brilliant idea. So thank you, Crafty by Tony. I must admit I do like her videos. She's the grunge queen. Definitely the grunge queen. I mean, I like grunge, but she can make it grungier. There we are, I think that's, yep, I think that's it, definitely. So now I have 3 of these that I can use in my, this one I did a little bit of red on. See there, I put one of them on with that. I used one of these, and that's actually a little pocket. When I put them on, I just usually I stick the photograph on the inside, and then I just usually put them round so that I've got like a little pocket. But yeah, but I like these. So I think we'll clear this stuff away. And here we are. So that's the one I did off camera, and it's got your 3 pockets. And these are the 2 that I did on camera. And as you can see where you can see where I've, and if you wanted, I mean, you could take your you know, take it further in if you want. You can grunge it down before you've stuck it down. But yeah, and so I showed you how to grunge up the photographs, and that's exactly how I do the labels as well. And I kind of like it tone on tone, but I just like the odd coloured, you can see I've got one there, the odd coloured label, and we've used a little bit of material, we've used a little bit of lace, and it's easy, and you don't have to have vintage book pages. You can get it to look like that with just, doesn't, if you haven't got any ink, you can use paint, just you know, put it on your mat and then sort of like just dab it on with a sponge and take a lot off, and then just dab it on and then rub it, you know, rub it in, and use kind of the oranges and the browns. If you haven't got brown, just, you know, add a little bit black or something. But you can do all sorts. You can use makeup, chalk. A lot of people have chalk, you know, the chalk from the card making days. I do use it now and again because I've got a load, and that is brilliant. The only thing with chalk is it does fade a while, so you can put hairspray or something. You can buy fixatives in the art shops for things like that, but because it's just a junk journal, I wouldn't spend a lot of money on fixatives. Just a cheap hairspray from one of the cheap shops is probably enough. Anyway, enough waffle. I hope you get a lot from that. I hope you have a go at grunging down your book pages, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.